Hello again, everybody. It's Lloyd, myself, and Tony of the Hot Air Show. Welcome back to another episode. We've got some interesting stuff today. In fact, actually, we're going to be talking about the IWA show. We've got a few rifles to show you and a bit of a chat about a pistol. Anyway, Tony, I've not seen you for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yes, it has actually. Yeah. So What exactly have you been up to?
Well, as you said, I've been to the IWA show, the International Waffenausstellung in Germany, Nuremberg, posh that, eh?
Yeah,
and
very good.
that's on every year in March, and it's a big show, massive show in Germany. And it's trade only, so unfortunately the punter can't get along to go. But it's something that we hope, as the British Shooting Show develops, we get a consumer version of that show in the UK. And that's one of the reasons I was there, to have a good look and see what's what.
I've been to the IWA show, but a long time ago when it was much smaller, probably about 10 or 12 years ago was the last time I went, and it was sort of a little bit of a shadow of the SHOT Show.
It was
like
that's
tiny version, a European version of the SHOT Show. So I presume it's got a lot bigger, has it?
It's all of a sudden it has. Yeah, I mean, I've been going for years, and we always used to say that the SHOT Show's the major show, and the IWA is a quaint European version. And then a couple of years ago, just new halls going up. They've been investing, and I said, are you investing all this in the farms? Oh no, it's the International Toy Show. If they don't grow the exhibition, the International Toy Show will go somewhere else. So every year they add more halls, they add more facilities, and consequently they drag the shooting industry in for its annual event every year. So it's got absolutely massive. I mean, I just brought that.
I thought you brought War and Peace, actually.
God, that is the show. that's the show
crazy.
catalog, yeah?
Right.
And that is full of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of exhibitors, and the stands are just so impressive. I took some pictures, you can have a look at those.
Yeah, I'd like to see those actually. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. So what was of interest at the show? Was there anything that caught your eye in the airgun world that people our viewers would like to hear?
Quite a bit. I mean, it's not always about showing new, because that tends to sort of drift in on one show than another. Most companies had something there which is new. I think the thing that caught my eye mostly was the FX stand. I think that was probably a little bit bigger than it's been in the past. The FX stand is the social centre for air gunners at the IWA. Yeah, all the bloggers and vloggers and all the videoists and journalists tend to sort of gather around the front of the FX stand. It's in the corner of a big stand. There's plenty of standing room. It doesn't hurt that it's adjacent to JSB Pellets, who give away free beer. So you've got that going on at the same time. And it's a nice. So if you're on foot and you're wandering around the unit air guns, you tend to sort of stick around that area, and you meet a lot of people, and so it's a good networking site.
I saw a few little shots of that new Dreamline, FX
That's
Dreamline.
The one, yes.
That looks absolutely awesome.
Yeah, it's like kind of a transformer gun for the. For the next generation, really. It's you can buy a basic gun in whatever chassis that you want, and then you start adding bits and pieces to it, and you can turn it into a bullpup, you can turn it into a field target rifle, which I thought was pretty interesting, or you can change it into a more AR sort of 15 type lookalike. It's got all these different modular parts, but you can buy the base gun in whatever configuration you want, and then apparently you can buy all the parts to clip on, take off. Look very interesting.
Yeah.
And they're also offering this X barrel, which is the latest of the smooth twist.
And that's going to be on the Dreamline
That's
as well.
An option on it as well. And that I was lucky enough to be there while he was showing it off to Walther Barrels, actually. And I got a very good earwig on what went into that barrel, and it really sounded very interesting.
You going to tell us any more about that?
What, the X barrel?
Yeah. As in what went into it?
The secrets. Well, I think as he was telling a major rival, he probably won't mind me telling the rest of the world what was in there. But basically, the smooth twist barrel was an external crimping tool.
Yeah.
Crimping a form of rifling on the outside of the
Which
barrel.
you could see, actually, yeah.
Yeah, there was a cover on there, and sometimes you could take the cover off and you could see the crimp on the end. And it basically, the pellet flies down a smooth barrel.
There was Ben Taylor had quite a bit of...
He developed it, yeah. It was right there, 2008, 2009, or 7, 8, 9. In fact, we were looking at using it. We couldn't get it to work in 177 back in those days, and it was a bit problematic in 12-foot pounds, and I think that's been true until relatively recently when they've got it sorted out.
So, because I've got I don't know whether you know, but I've got a Streamline. Right. When I did a video probably about a year and a half ago on the Streamline, sorry to say I absolutely hated it, to be honest with you, because It seems to be sometimes that when FX release a gun, there's a few little niggles that need to get sorted out. And I got one of the early production models, and there's a few fit and finish issues.
Yeah.
I really sort of put me off, to be honest with you. But we got Streamlines again this year. And I spoke to the importers and sort of said, how's the situation, the quality of the fit and the finish, is it better? And they said, yeah, there's been an improvement. Mm-hmm. So I ordered the laminated ones. I don't know if you've seen the grey laminate one. It's a shame I've not got it here, to be honest with you. But I ordered a grey laminate one, and that thing is really bloody accurate.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about them, isn't
at 12 foot pounds. Mine's not an FA. I don't shoot FAC air rifles actually, but mine's at 12 foot pounds.
Yeah, well, I'm going back to 2009. When they were really at the beginning of it, and they've had a lot of time and made a lot of guns in between then and now, and of course they've got the accuracy sorted out.
So I presume now we've got this new X barrel system. So what's the actual for our viewers? Can you explain the basic differences?
Well, as a layman, really, because I was only sort of looking at it really for the first time. I did see it in the States when the Crown was launched, so I had a little bit of a good look at that. But essentially, that they've developed a tool that allows them to crimp the whole length of the barrel, and while they're crimping, they can change the twist rates. So changing a twist rate on a barrel is a pretty difficult thing to do. You have a standard twist, 1 in 14, 1 in 12, 1 in 18, whatever the configuration is. And that's put in either through cut rifling or through turning a button mandrel or something like that. Mm-hmm. On the smooth twist barrels, what they do is they change the twist rates on the crimp. So that on the original smooth twist, it was only crimped at the end, as I said. On the X barrel, it's crimped down the whole length, and they can vary the tension, and they can vary the amount of twist, and they can do it in a heartbeat. It takes them apparently 15 minutes to make a barrel from start to finish, which is quite outstanding.
So I'm guessing here that probably there might be a slight change in twist rate for the FAC ones in comparison with the 12 foot.
You can do that, yes. You wouldn't normally do that on an air gun normally, because the infrastructure of doing that would be very difficult to do. But they can do it as well, and apparently you can buy the gun and then you can order in different barrel liners with different twist rates.
Right.
And to change caliber on these guns, for instance on the new Dreamline, there was a graphic showing how to change barrels and calibers, and you simply remove the liner, you change the bolt probe with an Allen key, put it back in, put the barrel in, and then you adjust the power up and you're off.
Right.
And 12 foot pounds, that's a little bit harder because you've got this limit that's makes it much harder to vary power. In FAC overseas guns, of course, it doesn't matter, you just have a slightly less powered one than you would on a 2.2. But it certainly looked a very interesting concept. It did look good. I think that was, of the IWA stuff I saw, that was the one that caught my attention.
That was the major one for you, was it?
For me, yes, I think so. But there was something else going on which was a bit odd. Which
didn't you have I thought you had did you have a video or something?
Yes, I did a little bit of a video on FX, which we can pop in.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, shall we?
Put that in now.
Let's pop it. I don't know whether it's down there or up there or wherever. But anyway, we'll pop it in later. Have a quick look at it, because I think you interviewed. Was it Johan?
Yes, I did. Yes, who's Frederick Axelson's son.
Yep.
Who's now sort of 20 foot tall. We used to be a little thing like that. Funny how people grow.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Let's put it in.
It's a sign that you're getting old, isn't it? Really. Right. Okay. Look, we'll let you watch it, and I'm going to watch it as well, and we'll be back in a second.
With Johan from FX Air Guns. Say hello, Johan.
Hello.
And we're looking at the new FX Streamline. Look at this thing. Look at it. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
The FX Dreamline is our new updated Streamline version. It's a multi-modular gun, so it's basically all from one system, 5 different guns. It can be either a classic standard gun, you can make it into a bullpup, or you can make it into a tactical gun. We have 2 different tactical stocks. One is the one that you see on the top here, and one is the one to the right of us that you'll see in a moment.
Okay, so to the right, we're walking, here we go.
So this is the AR-15 chassis for the Dreamline.
That's beautiful.
You're able to adjust any single AR-15 grip you want and AR-15 buttstock that you want. So you can swap them out whenever you want to.
There you are, there's the man himself. Okay, thank you very much, that's fantastic. We'll have a look at a little bit of detail on that later on.
Thank you.
Well, welcome. Bloody hell! I
thank you.
tell you what, that looks really bloody impressive. Do you know what? It's really interesting that because I've never thought about this concept before of having one action. And I mean, you know, you can sort of do it in some ways because HW100, you can get a Craftsman Fit does a bullpup kit for them now. So theoretically, you could have an HW100, and then when you want to, you can actually just bolt your bullpup stock on, and away you go. But this thing is sort of like almost next level,
just
isn't
the
it?
hobbyist in you, just to go, oh, I've got to have that. I mean, you know, you're just going to have a.
I can imagine people literally having one action, and it's going to be like, was it Dare the Jackal?
Yeah.
Where you literally, you know, you sort of
bits
bolt bits on and everything.
Yeah.
You build, you know, that'll be really cool. Actually,
I thought
as
it
long
was
as they keep the price right, though. I mean, the thing is, you know, FX, they're not a cheap rifle. It's going to be a damn sight cheaper than buying 5 different guns, though, isn't it?
Absolutely. I did try and push him on price, and I was quite getting a certain hesitancy. But the intention, I think, was to make the base gun the same price as the Streamline.
Right.
Streamline was relatively competitive price. Can you remember what that was?
I think the standard one's about 900,
Right.
and my laminate one was 995 or something like
So
that.
it's
So
probably
about
something like that. Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. And did they give you an indication on sort of when they're going to be available in
Well,
the
it
UK?
depends on who you asked, really. I did ask Frederick himself, and he said, well, I've got a little bit more work to do on it. So it's clear what they were showing was a pure prototype. They had about 6 or 7 of them on the stand.
Mm-hmm.
But he said he's going to do a bit more work, make the ballpark slightly smaller, make it shorter. So he wasn't too happy with that.
We want to know when it's going. This year or next year, do you think?
Oh, for sure this year.
This year?
Yeah,
in the UK?
Well, you know, who can say?
Well,
But,
that's interesting. I suppose if we've got any US viewers, they're probably going to get them this year. But maybe us unlucky UK people might get to see them.
Well, they've got this new factory. You know, it's rocking along, making sort of zillion guns a year. So they should be able to do
It
it.
seems like the UK was a little bit of a poor cousin, actually, because obviously, you know, when they released the Impact, I think most of them actually went to the US, didn't they?
That's right.
And we got them probably
And that's
about 9 months
likely
later.
to be even more the case this year because they have a new. They've set up FX USA, so it's away from the original importer, and now it's with their own importer. They've set up their own company in the States.
Right.
And I met Jonathan from them at the show, and you know he's a dynamic character, so he's going to be taking as many as he could possibly take.
Yeah. So so I mean, if we see it next year, it's not the end of the world, but it'd be nice to get it this year.
Yeah.
Saying that, I mean, the Crown has not been available to retail yet. You know,
I think they're just about coming in now. I've heard some
I think somebody's got one on review at the moment, so you know that'll be interesting to see. Obviously, we'll have the Crown on the show as soon as we can get our hands on one, but we haven't had one yet.
The funny thing about the Crown was that last year when it was just being sort of mentioned really at the SHOT Show, I was desperately trying to find out about it, and nobody would say anything until I happened to be at Frederick Axelson's birthday bash in the States.
Did you get him drunk?
They sat beside me and told me everything about it.
Oh, okay, well, that's cool.
Said, stop telling me, Frederick, because I spent a week trying to find this information out, and now you're just spilling the beans over your birthday, dude. But he's a lovely guy, and he told me all about it, and it's a fantastic rifle. I've shot it, and I thought it was very impressive.
Excellent stuff. Right, that sounds really interesting. So that's good. That's good for to know about the FX Dreamline. You've obviously seen the video now.
Yeah.
Put your comments below what you think, and actually, what I'd really be interested to know is, what would you buy? Would you buy like the standard gun and just leave it standard? Would you buy the AR-15 sort of bit? You know, are you going to buy? Would you buy them all if the price is right? Like, let us know what you think about the idea and the concept, because it'd be nice. One gun does it all. That'd be if it does do it all. That is, you know. But that'll be a really interesting concept. I'm looking forward to that myself. I'll probably be upgrading my Streamline to a Dreamline actually when they come through. So I think that'd be really cool. So anyway, what else did you see?
Well, the one that sort of hit me between the eyes was the Snowpeak stand. Now, about a year ago, there was all sorts of rumours going around that there's a banking group which owns Remington that's bought this, that, the other, and everything. And one of the companies they bought was Snowpeak. Snowpeak is basically the huge Chinese company that makes all the SMK products, for instance.
That's Artemis
brand, that's right.
Yeah.
And they were there under Snowpeak, and they had the Artemis branding up as well. Quite a large stand at the bottom of, so the other end of the same hall as FX. So it's a short walk. And I'm looking at this stuff, but I had a tip-off. Tackle and Gun magazine came in.
This is, by the way, this is the for the trade magazine.
The trade magazine, and it's pretty informative. And the front cover advert from Sports Marketing shows a gun at the bottom, and I don't know if we can do a zoom in on that maybe later on.
We can probably get a picture. We'll get a picture up for you, a better picture so you can see it right.
Well, the thing that obviously hits me on that is that doesn't look like a Wolverine.
The block definitely does. In fact, actually, well, it's sort of like the stock looks a little bit, dare I say it, the Urban Rapid 7?
Yeah, that's right, it does. But it's got a...
But at the end of the day, there's only so many ways you can make
absolutely
a stock.
Right.
So,
but the breech block to me in the magazine...
Yeah, that definitely
and
looks like it.
The filler underneath and everything, that looked day statey. So that having arrived a week before I went to IWA, I naturally went to the Snowpeak stand to go and have a look at the gun.
Yeah.
So I did, and I had a look, and I did a short video.
Okay. Yeah. Are we going to show this one as well?
Well, why not? Should we pop that one in?
Yeah, we'll show this one. Right, okay. Anyway, we'll show you the Snowpeak video. Back in a second.
I'm here on the Snowpeak stand. Some interesting guns coming out of this company. Quite innovative. Here's a gun which has caught a lot of people's imagination. It's a cylinder wrapped around a barrel. It's been done before, but I think in about 1820. It's really unusual to see this kind of configuration, and real kudos to this company to produce something like that. Here's a gun that caught my imagination. This is almost like a Dave State Wolverine. You can definitely see the pedigree, except they've got, in this case, a cylinder version with a pressure gauge on the end, side lever cocking, and a familiar looking magazine. They did show an air cylinder version in their brochure, but I don't see one on the wall. I think perhaps that's a prototype version.
Okay, well there you go. That's the Snowpeak video. So go on, tell us a little bit more. Tell
well, it was the one on the stand actually didn't look like the one in the picture. It had a cylinder on it rather than a bottle. And so I tried to ask, but my Chinese was not very good, so I couldn't really get anything across. Okay. But they were very interesting. They weren't as well made as perhaps I was looking from the pictures. The pictures are obviously digitally cleaned up. The actual they're a bit rough in real life. Cocking action a bit clunky. Magazine looked very interesting. It's kind of a cross between a Day State magazine and a Brocock Compato magazine, which is the same company anyway. But it was. It didn't have an indexing pin system, self-indexing, had a loading port size, so that looked quite good. But there was also the gun at the top, which I cover in the video, which is the M30,
yeah,
which is pretty interesting. Now I'm a bit of a gun fan of older guns, and I'd seen something like that once before, so I dug through my files and I found a picture of an air rifle made in 1820, something I saw in 2014 at the Leeds Armoury. So I took a picture.
We're going to put it right. Okay, so we'll put a picture down in the bottom somewhere or other.
So it's not new, but if they can remember back to 1820, they're doing rather well. So it's very unusual for somebody to come up with a design like that. This gun looked very interesting, very long, but one actually arrived at Solway the other day when I was in there. So I had a good look at it, and it's probably the most interesting of the Chinese guns that I've seen in a long time. Very quiet, nice bolt action. Just looks like a super silenced firearm, really.
So I mean, obviously the barrel runs through the silencer. So how I presume the barrel finishes before the end, and there was some sort of baffle.
Yeah, I
system?
took the end off and had a look, and there's a huge baffle in there. So that entire side, the final part of it, is all baffle, all silencer, and it was really quiet. So it's long, but it's got to be long because your cylinder's wrapped around your barrel. Weight, I would say around 7 pounds, not very heavy. A bit front end heavy because of the way that the gun was built, but
a bit more stability.
Probably the most interesting of all of the guns I saw on that side. But this is where the Chinese not only are they copying, which they clearly are, but they're also innovating
as well,
and that's very interesting. And the prices, I mean, the M30 I think is around £400, something like that.
I mean, I don't. So I'm sorry to say this, but I don't know because I don't stock sports marketing.
I'll look it up. I've got the prices. Right, I look at it. I think around £400, and as is the Wolverine lookalike.
Yeah.
So they're a pretty competitive price.
You know what? I mean, I've seen some of the stuff that they do, and you know what? It is good value for money. It's not my cup of tea, to be honest with you. I'm probably a bit of an airgun snob. If I wanted something like that, I would like Daystate Air Arms.
Yeah, this sort of stuff.
But I love the concept. I think that like that sort of. I know it's a little bit of a touchy subject, isn't it, about making air rifles look like firearms these days.
Yeah.
Or it's touchy with some people. Personally, I'm completely fine with it. If you know, do you remember the old Saxby Palmer Herald, which was a Parker Hale lightweight game rifle? I think 2001 lightweight game rifle. That looked absolutely fantastic, and I love the look of those things. I think it's something cool. So the M30 really sort of appeals to me, the concept of it. But I'd like one of the bigger, more premium manufacturers to take that up, because at the end of the day, if the Chinese can copy us, we can copy them.
Well, that would be a turnaround, wouldn't it? Yeah. I think the thing about it is that I know, for instance, when you're selling guns to a very mature audience we've got in the UK, I mean that in the way that they appreciate the product, then these guns are only going to be sold on price and entry level people, and it's maybe it can be tuned up by somebody and cleaned up and made to shoot even better. But where they really clean up is some of the overseas markets, where it's all about money, where it's all about price. And they must be selling vast numbers of air guns to that, which of course is good for the UK manufacturers, because they can then go in as high-end premium.
It gets people. I mean, to be honest with you, if everything was too expensive, you'd have a lot of beginners who couldn't afford anything. Yeah. So it's a great way to get somebody involved, and then maybe they can go on to the premium products, and Air Arms and Daystate and all the rest of it can benefit in kind at a later stage. So I think it's
I did go on the Air Arms stand, but I think we'll cover that in the next video.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah. I don't know how long we've been gabbing on already. It seems like about 2 minutes, but it's probably about 2 hours. Who knows? Right. Well, shall we go and have a brew?
Have a brew.
And have a brew. We'll be back soon. See you in a bit.
Hi, I'm Steve from the British Shooting Show. Come and see us in February next year, 2019. We'll have wider aisles, more space, and a bigger and better show. Thank you.